Okay, recently I was trying to update iTunes and install iTunes, and was getting a error message here, so I have since figured out what the problem was, and I made some backups, restored an old backup that I had that still had the problem on it. So I'm going to try to reproduce it here. So I'm going to install iTunes here, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so it goes through the process. Okay, you get to the finish part, and it says open iTunes after installer exits. You get the agreement, sign, you click agree, and you wait. It's supposed to open, and so I'm sitting here waiting and nothing happens. So you're like, well, okay, what's going on? So the next step, you would think, well, okay, the icon that it created on the desktop, let's go ahead and let's click that, right? So you click it, and still nothing happens. Okay, so the program won't start, so like most of us would do is you would restart the computer and try to open iTunes again, and clicking on it, and it doesn't work. So you research it a bit and you find out, well, you go to the Apple site and they tell you start iTunes in safe mode, and to hold the shift to control while opening iTunes, and to try that, and then if that doesn't work, try creating a new user account. They want you to do that, which I did all these things. And for example, if you hit shift control, it says iTunes is running in safe mode. You get that message there. Then you click continue, and still nothing. You get a blank screen. So you decide, well, let me try uninstalling it and reinstalling it and see what happens. Well, you still get the same message. So then you would get to this page. iTunes won't open itself. And they want you to, and maybe it's due to a faulty configuration file or a plugin or QuickTime or other programs. So you uninstall QuickTime and you do all those things and you follow the instructions, and still nothing works. And then the other option that we can try is Control-Shift-Escape. It brings up our Windows Task Manager, and you'll scroll down and you'll look for the iTunes application here. It's under a process. It can make it out. But anyway, so you would click iTunesHelpr, then they want you to end the process, and you click end. And supposedly, once you end that, you come and you double click your iTunes, and it's supposed to load. Well, look, it still doesn't load. So now you're like, okay, what now? Okay, at one point while I was doing the install, I remember getting, I got a permissions, like I didn't have access to permissions or something to that nature. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to, maybe it has something to do with my access control on the account. So I logged out of my restricted account, and I logged into the admin account. I thought, okay, well, let me log into the admin account, and let's see what I get here. So there's the iTunes icon. Okay, so I tried to load iTunes in the admin account, and still nothing happens. So, okay, it's not a user control situation either. Oh yeah, and one other thing I should mention is we even tried to do the SFC scan now, which you would do it like this here. You would go to, so you go to accessories, command prompt, right click, run as administrator. SFC space / scan now, and then it says beginning system scan. So you'll do this, it goes through 7, 8% to 100%. So we'll come back when this is finished. Okay, so here we are back, and the SFC scan now finished, and as you can see, it didn't find any integrity violations. Okay, so while we're here in this command prompt, elevated command prompt, we're going to go into the hidden administrator account because I want to go and set some permissions up on folders, and there's been times where the process of setting permissions on the folders just doesn't run very smoothly, even if you're in the admin account. The hidden user account seems to work the best here. And we're going to go into this hidden user account. I'm going to warn you that when we're in there, we just want to do what we want to get done and then get out. It's not something that you want to be surfing the web and doing all kinds of browsing and whatnot. We just want to get in and get out of what we need to do and get out of there. So how we do that is from the command prompt. We go net user administrator / active : yes. And it'll tell you the command completed successfully. From here we just exit out, and then what we'll do is we'll log out, and then in the middle here is my administrator account. You'll see I've got 3 accounts. One's an admin, administrator, and then my Tech 1. Tech 1 is my limited user account. So that's where we set up iTunes in. So we'll go into the administrator account. Okay, now that we're in here, we open up Windows Explorer. We want to find our iTunes folder. I have mine, so it's going to be in My Music. I have mine in D drive, My Music. We click on My Music. Now this is something interesting. It says I don't currently have permissions to access this folder. So, well, anyway, which is really kind of odd. So there's definitely a permissions situation going here. So we click Continue to continue onto the folder, and I'll see it. And more than likely, I think I probably have permissions full issues on some of these others. Yes, I do. My documents, my pictures, my videos. Okay, so we got those cleared. Now we're going to right click on the My Music folder, go to Properties, go to Security, and one of the first things that we're going to want to do here is you'll see is we want to look for the groups or usernames. Is we want to have the admin, the administrator, and my limited account, which is Tech 1 in here. So all I see right now is administrator. So first what we need to do is we need to edit this and add those accounts. So I'm going to add Tech 1, and you check for the name. Provides it. It just basically verifies that it is part of this in the system. You click OK. Now down here, I want a full control. I click Apply. It says like error occurred, but usually when you're in here, you click Continue, and it kicks you out, and then you come back in, and as you see, Tech 1 is in here now. So that's typically normal. I'll get that. For some strange reason, why that happens, I'm not sure. Now we want to add admin, because admin isn't in here. Admin, check names. Click OK. Allow full control. Apply. You get that error occurred. Continue, continue. Okay. So we go back in again, properties. We check, okay, we got the admin, we got the tech 1, and we have the administrator. There would be sometimes one other one that we could put in here would be everyone. It's generally not necessary, but what the heck, while we're here, everyone, check names, okay, full control, apply. Okay, so I added everyone in there, which would mean anybody that logged into would have access. Probably not necessarily necessary here, but just the same, I want to be sure that we have access. So now the next thing, okay, now that we got those in there, click OK. Now we want to go to advanced, because I want to see who has owner of this folder, of the My Musics folder. And the owner should be administrators. So we got the permissions, audit, and owner, so we want to click on owner. Okay, and administrators is, I do see, is the owner here. So that's good. Click OK to get out of that. OK out of there. Now the next folder we're going to want to look at is the iTunes folder. So we do the same thing, right click, properties, security. It's giving me, you must have administrative users permissions to use this. Do I want to? Yes, you click continue. It says you don't have permissions to view this owner's security properties. So what we need to do, generally when I see this, it's because the administrators isn't assigned. So I want to replace the owner with two administrators. So I'm going to replace, apply, and then yes. Now it says I just taken ownership, which is there. Click OK, and then OK again. Now the iTunes folder isn't supposed to have, we're going to go back in here, isn't supposed to have the, in fact, if you notice here, when I went into this, went properties, there's a lock on here. So, okay, I just wanted to show you there shouldn't be a lock on this folder. What I was getting at, right now I changed it to administrators just to get the access that we need to get, because we need to do the same thing here as far as giving the permissions to the other users. So we need to add tech 1, check name, full control, OK, add, admin, check name, click OK, allow full control, apply, and I'll leave it as, well, we can do the everyone, same as I did it on the other one. Everyone, check names, OK, full control, apply, OK. All right, so now these people in this folder, will be able to have permissions on this folder. You'll be able to give access to it. Previously we weren't able to, it was just the administrator, and he didn't even have control. So we're going to go back to advanced, we're going to go owner. Now the owner, I don't want to be the administrator of the iTunes folder. The owner of this folder should be the limited user account of the person who installed it, which that is the tech 1. So I'm going to click edit, other users or groups, tech 1, I check the name, I click OK. Tech 1 is now here in this, change the owner to. I want to replace owner on some containers and objects. Yes, we're going to click that, and then we click apply, and now I've just says I've taken ownership of that folder. Now that lock should go away once we exit out. Come back in, right click, properties, security. Let's go to advanced. Yeah, the lock is gone. Owner is Tech1. Okay, let's click OK. We should be OK now. Okay, so at this point, let's see if iTunes will start in the hidden user account. I'm going to minimize this. Get my iTunes icon here. Double click. I get my agreement. And look at this. Agree. My songs. And there we go. So let me close that. Now that I know it works here in this account, let's get out of the this hidden user account. So I'm going to log off, and I'm going to log into my Tech1 account. Okay. Now there's the iTunes. Double click iTunes. Agree. Okay, so we're still presented with this error here. iTunes library extras ITDB file is locked, or on the locked disk. Okay, so what we're going to need to do, let's go back into the net user account. I'm going to log off. And we get in here. My music, iTunes. Okay, we have the locks on these folders right there. There, and there. So the I bet if we right click on the properties on these security, yeah, there's no, these folders didn't get assigned the proper permissions. Okay, let's do these. There are not that many of them. Let's do it individually. Properties, security, edit, add, allow full control, add, admin, okay, allow full control, apply. I'm not going to bother with the everyone because I don't think it's needed. Click OK. Okay, as you see, the lock went away, right? Okay, so properties, security, edit, add, Tech1, check names, okay, allow full control, okay, allow full control, apply, okay, and add admin, check names, click OK, allow full control, apply, okay, and okay to exit out of that one, and we have one more. Properties, security, edit, add, Tech1, check names, okay, allow full control, apply, add, admin, full control, apply, okay, and then okay. Okay, all the locks are gone. So let's exit out of here, log out. Well, let's first check to see if iTunes still works here, which it probably should. Okay, we're good. log out, log in to the limited account. Locks are gone on the folder, so all should be good. So let's just close this. Let's try the iTunes. Double click. We get our agreement. Agree. Songs. And there we go. In the end, it did have to do with permissions on the folders, and permissions can be tricky, and you really need to go into the net user account to get through that and get by those. One thing we do want to be sure before we finish here is that we want to close that net user account, the hidden user. So let's go back in and get an elevated command prompt. Run it as administrator. Net user, administrator, /active, no. And it'll tell you the command was completed. And at this point, just close out, and you will see if you log out, we log back in. I only have the 2 accounts now. So the net user account is gone. And the bottom line here is on these folders, just to be sure that you understand, the My Music folder needs to have the ownership as administrators, and the iTunes folder will have the ownership of the account user, which in this case was Tech1. And then of course the permissions need to be applied. Be sure they're all in that box. In this box here, right here, you have to be sure that you have your group names and users in this box here. Admin, my Tech1, administrators need to be there. There you go. Have a good night.